started like actually noticing that there's not much different between like, Pakistan and like somewhere like abroad, like Canada or like
Yeah.
Ethiopia or like, yes, the internet is making it so much like better. Like, you're getting trends are coming here. The same trends you have in America, we have it at the same time. Like the fidget
Yeah.
spinner trend, like trends like that, and like the trick shot trend,
The 10-year challenge. Yeah.
the 10-year challenge, exactly.
Yeah.
Like all the जो वहाँ पे आते हैं तभी यहीं पे आ जाते हैं. It's like except one thing that's still cringy. Dab is dead. People, dab is dead. Don't do it.
Yeah. They still dab over there.
They still dab over here.
I see.
I'm crying right
That's
now.
funny. Yeah. All right, welcome back, everyone. Thanks for tuning into another episode. Today's episode is really exciting. We're bringing on 18-year-old Anushae to tell us about her life story. Anushae currently lives in Islamabad, but that's just scraping the surface of her background. She's lived through an entire roller coaster of moving across various countries, Ethiopia, Sudan, Canada, to name a few. And she'll tell us what prompted those movements across the countries and what eventually led her family to settle back in Pakistan. This is a great story. I hope you finish the full episode. Also, by the way, on this episode, we also have Jazil. He's 19 years old. He's a friend of mine from the UAE and also goes to school in Malaysia. Some other time we'll talk more about Jazil as well. But in this episode, Jazil will mostly be listening in and engaging in the conversation every now and then. So if you hear somebody else laughing besides me, that's probably Jazil.
Yeah, so I'm from Islamabad and I'm 18 years old, and basically as for studying, I'm in my second year, or aka senior year of high school. So yeah, I finished school this year. So yeah.
Nice. Okay. What do you plan to do though in the long term?
Yeah, I right now I am like studying psychology, fine arts, and like Islamic theology. But then I do have plans like in some kind of creative field. I still haven't like I'm still figuring out stuff and exploring. But yeah, for now it's gonna be some kind of creative like field.
Okay.
Maybe media sciences. But then let's see.
So you're in Islamabad now, right?
I am.
Okay, and when did you move there? When did you move to Islamabad?
I moved back to Islamabad in 2014, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. So it has been a while. I get it.
Yeah.
And you said homesickness. Of course, I don't know where you came from and everything, but before we do that, how long did you go through that with that homesickness? How long did you experience that before you started feeling better?
Oh, dude, I would like legit say 2 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2014 and then 2016, you started feeling more at home within Pakistan.
Yeah,
wow.
Sure, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Were you born in Pakistan?
Yes, I was born in Pakistan.
Okay. All right. So now we can talk about where you went, but where have you lived?
Yeah, so I don't exactly know how long I've lived in each place because like this is so candid. I'm so sorry, but then so generally just like a general overview. My dad is a diplomat, like or was a diplomat. Now he's retired. So I was born in Pakistan, or maybe Libya. See, I don't even know that, but
you don't know where you're born? How you not?
I don't even know.
What does it say on your passport? Place of birth.
That's so random, though. I was born in Pakistan, or maybe Libya.
Or Libya.
So,
because people, I never had this conversation with my parents. First of all, second of all, like a lot of people, including my sister and stuff, like people have like commented this that, oh, weren't you born in Libya and like stuff? But I haven't had the talk with my parents about like where I was born.
Wow.
Like I just generally assume it was basically back.
But like, what does it say on your passport? Like,
what
on your
passport?
Place of birth.
On your passport, or do you have a birth certificate or something? But I guess you never looked into it.
I did not exactly.
Wow.
Like I don't look into like Passport, I don't even remember the last time I went out of Pakistan.
Oh my
And
god.
the
That's
last
funny.
time I did a passport was
Yeah.
to come back to Pakistan unwillingly.
No, the reason it made me laugh is because अगर कोई वैसे ही किसी के साथ बात कर रहे हो ना, and they say something like, "I think I was born in Islamabad or maybe Pindi." Okay, I get it. But if you say I think I was
Yeah.
born
I
in
know,
Pakistan
I
or
know, I
Libya,
know.
they're not even close to each other.
It just came. I'm so sorry, but like it was random to me as well.
Yeah,
It just flashed up. Oh, somebody said I was born in Libya, but okay, you know what?
got it.
I'll confirm that later. But okay.
Cool. Chalo, ठीक है. Yeah, we can always. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can get back to
So,
us.
yeah. So my dad was a diplomat, so he moved around a lot. Yeah, he was in the foreign affairs, so he moved around a lot. Consequently, the family moved around a lot. So me personally, I'm a late child. Like my sister, like my elder sister, she's like 14 years older than me.
Oh.
So I'm a very late child. So the only
Okay.
countries that I saw were Sudan, Ethiopia, Canada, Abu Dhabi, and Saudi Arabia.
Wow. Okay.
So
Wait, let me write this down. Sudan, Ethiopia, Canada,
Saudi Arabia,
Saudi
yeah,
Arabia.
Canada,
Uh-huh.
and Abu Dhabi, or like UAE in general.
UAE. Okay. So you've lived across all those places at some point in your life.
Yes, and at some point of my life.
But you said you don't remember most of them?
I remember Ethiopia and Canada because that was basically my developmental years, because like middle school and like the start of high school. So yeah.
Yeah. Got it. And Canada, you don't remember either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when you say abroad, a lot of people, I think, automatically start thinking you've lived in like Europe or the US or Canada or something like that. But you've actually you've actually lived across a variety of countries, and a big chunk of it is Africa. That's interesting.
Yes, exactly. I remember a lot of like Sudan, Ethiopia, and then Canada. Like these are the three countries, but like play a role in my life. My family has lived in places that I don't care about, so I don't even know much of it. But yeah,
Wow.
that is actually a generalized opinion, Rasa.
Where did you actually go to school? In which country did you spend a majority of your time in school?
I started going to school. Okay, that's also messed up. I started going to school in Sudan. Like I went till second grade in Sudan, and then I had to move back to Pakistan for a little, like a few months, till my dad's next transfer. So I went to school here for a few months, and then I went back to Ethiopia. So Ethiopia and Canada. That's where I had like my Sudan, Ethiopia, and Canada.
Wow. Okay, got it. Like all the way till, let's say, you moved in 2014. Yeah, 8th grade. So until 8th grade, you were there, and then you moved back to Pakistan.
Yes.
Okay, makes sense. Did you have any issues with language problems or anything like that when you lived in Sudan and Ethiopia?
Yes, I did. See, that's another thing that's not gonna make sense. But okay. So the thing that happened to me in Sudan was that after I moved back from Sudan to Pakistan, I went to schools for the admission and stuff, and they said, "Oh, you don't have a base in Urdu, and you basically don't know any Urdu at all. So we're gonna take you back from prep. Prep is like kindergarten here."
Yeah.
I was already in second grade, and from second grade I went back to kindergarten because my Urdu wasn't there.
Wow.
Like because I hadn't had like a base in Urdu. So 2 years cut off. Like 2 years. I went 2 years back. And then when I went to Ethiopia, I just continued on from there. Like my parents didn't give a thought to moving me back to the grade.
Right.
Or, they were just like, abis ko yahin se chalo.
That's crazy because in second grade, you basically started learning basic math and stuff, right? Addition, subtraction, and then you went back to like building blocks and stuff, like kindergarten.
maybe that's the reason I suck at math. Maybe that's the reason I suck at math.
Well, you should be better at math because you got 2 chances at learning.
Dude, I'm not.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But I'm not. Yo, maths and me, we just do not get together. But okay.
You've basically been a very confused kid growing up, I can imagine, than the average ordinary kid who grows up in the same block until the age of 18. You experienced a lot more.
Yes, I did. So one of the first experiences that I would like, there aren't many, but like I was a quiet child. Nobody like knew, oh, there's that hijabi girl. Yes, I was a hijabi back in the day. So there's like, everybody was like, oh, that quiet hijabi girl, right? So that's like, nobody bothered me enough until middle school. what happened is that I moved to Ethiopia in grade 4. In grade 4, I basically do not have anything related to English. Like, I don't know any English at all. Like, in speaking sense, like, I know English, but then I'm not fluent in it. So what I do is I go there, like my teachers are like all nice to me and all, and I just nod at them. And from there, it's like a stereotype that I don't know how, but people kind of just imagine that I stutter. Like they just, made an assumption that I stutter, which is why I don't talk because I'm insecure of my stuttering. I never stuttered.
Yeah.
But okay. So I did not talk. That's where the bullying started. First because of my stuttering, which I didn't do, but okay. And then because of my hijab, I got bullied because of my hijab. Then because of my weight. So it just gradually.
Wait, hijab? Like all this in Ethiopia?
Yes.
Okay. Isn't Ethiopia like well, is it a Muslim?
It is. It's
not a Muslim majority country.
It's 25% Muslim and Orthodox Christian. 75% Orthodox Christian.
I see.
Or maybe
okay, got it. And the language there is English. At least the school that you went to was English.
Yes, it was English. It was English. It was English. Yes. It was international. It was an international school, but yeah, they had English as a language. So.
And was it an odd thing there to see a hijabi girl? Were there not a lot of other hijabi girls there?
No, actually, there were hijabi girls. I don't remember if they got bullied the same way I did. I just remember my own experiences because they're pretty horrific. So I don't think I gave a shit about other people being bullied or not. But okay.
मुझे अपनी पड़ी हुई है
exactly यहाँ पे अपने कुत्तों वाली और क्या मैं दूसरों की करूँ.
Good point. Yeah. Okay. Got it. So yeah, the bullying and all that. Okay. So the transition was, if I remember correctly, Sudan, Canada, then Ethiopia, right?
Sudan, Ethiopia, then Canada.
Oh, okay. The other way around. Okay. Sudan, Ethiopia, Canada, then Pakistan.
Then Pakistan. वो तो story, वो तो अभी story का twist ही तो वहीं पे आएगा ना. Story का twist ही वहाँ पे आएगा. But okay, so this happened. So fast forward, I got bullied. So it just gradually, just accelerated. वो कहते हैं ना कि एक चीज पे बंदा स्टार्ट हो फिर मतलब दूसरी चीज फिर वो फजूल के बहाने लोगों को मिल जाते हैं कि लाइक अब इस बात पे भी करो इस बात पे भी तंग करो इस बात पे भी. So that happened until this one day that I was talking to my driver and my teacher, he heard me talking to my driver and he was like, this girl does not stutter. Like she is so clean in her own language. He noticed that. He was like, this girl does not stutter. Koi aur masla hai yahan pe. So what he did was like the next day he asks me to come to his office and then he has this translator guy from India. And then I tell this guy my whole story that I'm getting bullied and stuff. And, I'm just not fluent in English. And there's this one thing that people learn by looking at other people. Like, it's been like 3-4 months and, you're in the school, you're talking to around people speaking English all the time. You get a little bit of English. I did not get that. एक होता है ना आप environment को देख कर सीखते हो. But nahin, that did not happen with me. For some reason, like, I never got used to it. So this kid the kid told the whole story to my teacher, and my teacher was like, oh my God, that's messed up. And then he's like, young lady, I'm going to give you classes until you know good English, and then you're going to give a speech in front of the whole class. And I swear to God, mere dil se tak duaein nikalti hain us teacher ke liye, like.
Okay, so this was still in Ethiopia?
Yes, this was in Ethiopia. Yeah, I was in Ethiopia for a year or a little bit over that, and then I moved to Canada. Yeah. So I was there. I was in Canada 3 years, maybe, or 2 years. Wait, grade 8th, grade 7th, grade 6. Yeah, grade 4, grade 5. Grade 4, grade 5 in Ethiopia, and then grade 6, grade 7, grade 8 in Canada.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, while you were moving across all these different countries, basically your mom, your whole family was moving along, right? Your mom as well. What was your mom doing?
Yeah, my mom was a housewife. She didn't work.
Housewife.
Okay. Yeah.
Because a lot of people have this setup where, the husband, the father travels and the family is still in Pakistan. A lot of people do that even here in the US. Not saying that's the correct way, actually. But I think it's probably better the families stick together.
No, that's because that also depends on the job. If people have private jobs or they're going like with some private companies or something, that's something different. Like my dad was in the government. Like he was working for the Pakistani government. So that way, like you're allowed to take your family. Aapki family ka sara kharcha, like the government takes it. Like why not?
Yeah,
Why would
yeah, that's true. Okay, then you moved to Canada.
Yeah.
Which part of Canada, by the way? Toronto?
Ontario for a little bit, but then Toronto. Yeah. Eventually, I moved to Toronto, but then my dad was in Ontario. So, yeah. So this teacher works on me for like a little bit. I guess like 2 months or something. I take like detention classes, which were detention for the other kids, but for me, they were like classes to get me speaking.
You're not being punished, but yeah.
But yeah, I took detention classes and then I came out strong as anything. Like literally, that was the only thing. I was like, I went back to every bully and I just talked back to them. Like it was a great comeback. I stood up to my bullies and but then still it left scars. But okay, yeah, that was the first like very adverse reaction I got from like people of different descents. So yeah.
Yeah, I find this so strange because not saying that I know so much about Sudan and Ethiopia, but English is not the official language in Ethiopia, is it?
Oh, no, it's not.
And yet you got bullied for not knowing English, but maybe it's because of the nature of the school. It's an international school, so all the kids are expected to know English. That's why.
Yeah. Kids don't care about stats, do they?
Yeah.
They're just like they need something to, and these were like douchebag kids. I am not saying all the kids were bad. Yo, kids helped me out so much. The ones that supported me, oh my God, they supported me so much to the point that like they went out of their ways, like they risked them getting suspended to like back up for me. So like there were good kids there, but then they were like, वो कहते हैं ना like Urdu में एक proverb है कि like एक गंदी मछली पूरे तालाब को गंदा कर देती है. It's that thing. A few kids and then, your childhood is ruined. So it's never, the teachers were great, the other students were great, but then, there was this one, like, there were the specific students that had all this. But yeah, it wasn't a general opinion there. It was just a few people.
Got it.
So Ethiopia goes smooth. After that, that's the only highlight that needs to be told. And then I moved to Canada. I moved to another school. And this school is great. No bullying, no nothing. Everybody like appreciates me. And I'm here basically because I'm already so like empowered. I know English. Like I know fluent English. Also, my teacher was Canadian. The teacher that helped me, he was Canadian.
I see.
Yes. So I get my accent from him, actually. Like a lot of people ask me, that's one more reason like people generalize me. Oh, you're from the US, maybe. No, I'm not from the US.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only major difference that I know of between the US accent and the Canadian accent is Canadians, they say like words like out, like oat. Have you ever heard that before?
Yeah, the sorry one. Oh, say sorry. Say sorry. Yeah. We don't say sorry. Say sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah. You have a pretty good English accent.
Yeah. So that's where I get it from. So I go to Canada, everything is smooth. And then comes the part where like 2 years go smooth. Year 6, year 7 was like smooth. No, nothing happens. And then year 8. Year 8 goes and it's the start of like it's the 1 year before like sophomore and the whole adolescence plays its magic. You're anxious about like being cool in school and you get like into blocks like either you're a geek or
cliques,
like a nerd.
Yeah, the cliques, right? Yeah, the nerd, the jocks.
Yeah, so that's what causes anxiety. Oh, where do you want to be? Which kids do you want to hang out with? So that all started in year 8. So I happened to be one of the party kids. So I was the party kid. I'm part of the cool group. So that's where I end up. And not gonna lie, that made me go a bit to the wrong path. But okay, that is still, I was still like in good hands. But like my mom and dad were like, my mom particularly, I would say she's a bit more religious, like on the religious side. And she did not like me going to schools, which is like ironic because you're in a country where like, you kind of have to go to schools. There's no option
Hmm.
of like girls only
Yeah.
except for a Catholic school. I mean, come on.
Yeah. So were you going to all girls schools in Africa?
I wasn't.
Yeah.
My mom insisted that we move back to Pakistan for my education and stuff. My dad was like, hell
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
We're gonna stay here. She's gonna she's gonna study here.
Hmm.
So yeah. And I'm grateful for my dad. Thank you, Dad. I made some great friends there. But
Right.
yeah. Anyways, so year 8 is going shit. I don't have my shit together. I'm like partying. I don't care about studies, and I do. But then I still do get marks. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? I still get grades. Yay.
Yeah, you're still doing a good job. You're just not focusing too
Yeah.
much on school. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm not focusing too much on school, but so all that happens, and like I lose myself a bit right there in such a sense that Alhamdulillah, I had good friends. They always like kept me on the line, even if I went off track. They were like, "Oh, hey, knock it off. You have to come
Mhm.
back."
Mhm.
Does it make sense? I was a party kid, but then I had geek friends that are like the Sharif friends. If
Uh-huh.
in Pakistani stereotypes, the Sharif friends. They were like.
You were that one bad friend, basically, asking for help with homework
Yeah,
and
trouble. Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Well, that's smart. Yeah, you had fun, and then you had enough smart
Yeah,
friends to help you
yeah,
along.
yeah. Because I knew I had to keep my cover, like with
Yeah.
family and all, and also like my dad. Alhamdulillah, my dad had this one thing for me. He like taught me one thing: accountability. So he's like, he doesn't know about anything, but then he's like, you're getting big, you're getting old, you're a young
Yeah.
lady, you have to be accountable for whatever you do,
Mhm.
and that actually played a big role making me responsible.
That's good.
And that's why I kind of knew where like I had to keep my cover, and like
Mhm.
I cannot like there's a specific like image I have to maintain in front of my dad,
Mhm.
and some things that I have to refrain from and not get into stuff like that's what kept me in control. So
Okay.
all
Yeah.
that happens. My dad retires.
Mhm.
The big thing. My dad
Okay.
retires.
And that's what basically prompted the move to Pakistan.
It's time to go back home. Yeah. But my dad decides I should stay here and start high school. Like I should start sophomore here.
Mhm.
And because we had family here, like by here I mean Canada. We
Mhm.
had family in Canada. So my dad was like, education is better here and stuff. So like you can like she can stay. Like I can stay with the relatives that we have there. And like I
Mhm.
can continue school and all. So it's already like I know they're leaving, and they're like, you can stay, and I'm like, well, that's great, thank you, I can stay. I was like, oh my god, thank you so much, Dad. So the last day they're leaving, and what happens is my dad asks me to come to into his study, and I go. He's like, he has this one-on-one talk with me. He's like, but Dad, do you know where we're going?
Mhm.
I'm like, Pakistan. And then he's
Yeah.
like, yes, Pakistan. He's like, do you know what is Pakistan? I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's your country.
Mhm.
And okay, I'm literally like saying it the way I said it to him because like I don't forget this.
It's your country. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's I mean, like, abadi aapki country. Yeah.
Right.
So he's like, and then we had this general rule in our family, like always speak in Sindhi in the household. So like that's how you stay connected to your roots. So yeah. So
Okay.
so my dad is like, my country, isn't it your country as well? I'm like, yeah, same thing. That's where he
Right.
senses something is. And then he asks one question that I regret answering. He goes, Beta Pakistan ke bare mein kya khayalat hai aapke? Like, what do you think about Pakistan?
Mhm.
Okay, whatever I knew about Pakistan was from those annoying weddings,
Mhm.
like that you go to in Pakistan, an annoying family that you go to. And the second was hot weather.
Okay. So annoying weddings and hot weather. That was your perception of Pakistan.
That was my perception of Pakistan.
Mhm. And how many times did you go back to Pakistan while you were living abroad? Did you go back fairly often from Ethiopia, Sudan, Canada?
We went often, like me and my mom, we went for like weddings and quite often. So it
Right.
was like, once a year, twice a year.
Mhm.
And like for when you go for 2 months straight, like
Mhm.
that. So yeah.
Got it. Jazo, if you were asked this question, what would you? I can imagine your answer would be really similar, but what would your answer be? What do you think about Pakistan? What is Pakistan?
Honestly, I have a lot of fun going to Pakistan, meeting family because I don't get to do that, often. And I like the weddings. I don't find them annoying. I find them really fun.
The food is good, at least.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Really good. Yeah, as long as the food's good, I'm going.
Yeah. Right. And then we have girls like Iman from a few episodes ago who just goes to people's weddings, apparently people she doesn't even know directly, just for fun. And she loves weddings so much. It's funny how different people are.
Yeah.
Okay.
I swear, seriously. So I talk shit about Pakistan, like Pakistan, yay, Pakistan, oh,
to your dad.
मतलब कोई ठीक नहीं है, exactly, to my dad. ना बिजली है, ना पानी है, like कोई भी नहीं, like. Or I was from Sindh, for heaven's sake. I was from Sindh, the most like the hottest part of Sindh. Yeah. So what happens is, my dad listens to my ranting that went on for like 20 minutes. 20 minutes of hate, pure hate.
Right. So he was, prior to that, I'm guessing he was very sympathetic. He was like, beta, aapko yahin study karni chahiye. And he was all understanding. And then you gave him a 20-minute rant, and maybe he just started rethinking, ye ladki to over hi ho ja rahi hai. Isko main phisalne de raha hu, ye aur phisli ja rahi hai.
Exactly that.
Okay.
Exactly that. And my dad was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So dad was like, nay, 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 nay. Are you sure all that you said, do you stand by that? I did not know the meaning of those words back then, but like,
I'm guessing your dad was really patriotic.
Oh, he is. Like, he is the epitome of what you call patriotic.
Right.
God damn. So my dad goes is like, बेटा जब तक अपनी country की कदर नहीं होगी ना आपको, दुनिया में कहीं भी चले जाओ आप successful नहीं होगे. Those words stuck with me. He's like, pack your things. You are going back to Pakistan with us.
Oh, okay.
मेरे पैरों के नीचे ज़मीन निकल गया. I was like, what?
The whole plan changed in a 20-minute conversation.
Exactly. I was like, what? What? Like, I took like a whole hour to process that. I was like, and then I begged my dad. I was devastated because like it wasn't just moving to Pakistan. It was leaving all the friends. It was on such a note, like we are leaving tomorrow. I don't, like, my parents and my friends don't even know I'm leaving tomorrow.
You can't even talk to them.
Exactly. It was so sudden. Also, I did not have a phone. I wasn't allowed a phone. So the only way I can, go back to my friends is like school. So
So you were about 13, 14 at that time.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. All right. So the next day you're supposed to pack and go back to Pakistan. You begged him, but it didn't really work, I'm guessing.
It did not work. I was like, I'm so sorry I did all that. He was like, oh God, my dad is like, he's my dad. I'm stubborn as all hell. Like, what do you expect? Like, so I get it from him. So he's like, नहीं बेटा, ये जो आपकी ये जो सोच है ना, इस सोच को मैंने change करना है. उसके बाद दुनिया में जहाँ जाना जाओ. I'm like, Dad, but I did not take it the way he planned for me to take it. So we moved back. I did not get to say goodbye to my friends. That is another regret I have in life. But yeah, the next morning, the time I had to go, I was supposed to go to school. I left for the airport, and the next thing I know is a day in the plane, and then I'm back. So I come here. I'm on stuff. I did stuff.
I just wanted to add a clarifying note here. One of the challenges that Anushae will refer to throughout this episode is drug culture and drug addiction. She refers to drugs as stuff. So the stuff that she's mentioning throughout this episode is basically drugs.
And I know no one here. I don't have stuff. And like, it's just like I'm losing shit. I don't know how to keep my cover. My mind isn't working, and
Yeah.
it was just a mess, and
Yeah.
it took me like I slept
Now,
at
this
like
was 2014, so I mean, social networks are still around. Were you at least able to get in touch with your friends via like Facebook or something and tell them, hey, this just happened?
and no,
I'll
no,
never
not
see you again.
until no, not
Yeah.
until 2016.
Okay. So you didn't really keep in touch over social media or anything?
See, social media was around, but
Hmm.
me personally, I was not allowed phones. I was not allowed PC. I didn't
Yeah.
even know what a PC was, to be honest. Like I
Hmm.
took computer classes. That was about it. Like I took IT classes, and the
Okay.
only computers I saw was in the IT lab,
Hmm.
literally. So
Wow.
yeah, there was no. I had a pretty like 90s childhood, like
Yeah.
at home, other than school.
Yeah.
Like I used to play with dolls, and I didn't even have video games. I
Hmm.
was literally the toy kind of person.
Hmm.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
used to play with Rubik's cubes and stuff.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, the 90s was a strange time. I remember this. I used to like stare out the window, literally staring at squirrels and stuff, and just watch them play and then play with my fingers.
yo, I used to do that. I used to make paste. I used to make paste out of like leaves from the
Yeah,
garden.
right. Now, Jazel, you had a similar kind of childhood, you said?
Not staring at squirrels. I mean, I got a PS2 back
Yeah.
when I was like, I don't know, 7 or
Mhm.
8. So that was my entire childhood playing
Video
video
games,
games.
okay.
And,
Yeah, I have video games too, but yeah, it wasn't very rich growing up, my family as a whole. So
Mhm.
a lot of times we didn't really have video games. I just kind of grew up just I don't know, just sitting around there, really.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember arcades were still a thing, and the only time like I got like permission to go out with friends, and it was like in an
Mhm.
arcade, and we just played video games in an arcade. That's all I
Wow,
remember.
okay. Got it.
So yeah. So I moved back here. So fast forward, it's like 3 months there just go by me sleeping all the day, like because and people suspect stuff, but then I get up and I'm fresh and all, and I try to keep it, and it somehow works. My cover still stays
Mhm.
until like I come to Islamabad. 3 months go by. I'm depressed as all hell, and I'm homesick. I miss my friends. I can't talk to them. I miss my family back there. Like I was close to my cousins, like chachu ke bache. Like I was close to
Mhm.
them. I miss them. I can't talk to them. Also, my mom and my dad were not good with technology. Like my mom literally used like my dad is still on that feature phone, that Nokia that these
Mm.
stuff. Like
Yeah.
yeah. Also, they're aged because like I told you, I was a
Mhm.
late child, so like they're
Yeah.
aged as well. So they don't get into much technology. Like phone पे बात करते थे, like
Mhm.
local phone पे, और वो बड़ों से बात करके वो phone बंद हो गया. जाहिर सी
Yeah.
बात है, फिर बच्चों को कौन बात कराता है. So so that happened, and फिर ये हुआ कि like I moved to Islamabad. Islamabad
Mhm.
is where I go to school. Yeah, I went to all these schools, and like my mom did not like it.
Mhm.
She was like, अब तो पाकिस्तान में आ गए हैं, अब तो like, and she goes and she visits these, and she doesn't like them because they're co, and um
Mhm.
she's like very consistent that I'm gonna go to an all girl school because
Mhm.
now I'm growing up. So she's like a bit conservative. So she wants me to be like, grow up in an environment where there's no guys and no namahrams and stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Wow.
that all happens. I end up going to this school. I would not disclose the name, but the school that was apparently an Islamic school.
Okay.
Yeah, they were basically Islamic. They had different classes, and they had
Mhm.
their admin was all like run by mullahs.
Wow. So tell me this question. So Ethiopia, Sudan, Canada, you did not go to Islamic school in those three countries. You went to international
I
schools.
was my Islamic school. My household was so Islamic. I didn't have to.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah, my mom. When I tell you my mom is religious, you should know that I was
Yeah.
okay. I've done hifz.
Mhm. Oh, you've done HIFs?
Do you know
Really?
what? Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, 15, like until like half of it.
What age did you finish?
Oh, there was the teacher that I used to like my tutor,
Mhm.
my Quran tutor. He had a specific time कि अगर इस टाइम में कोई कर सकता है तो वो कर सकता है, और अगर वो नहीं कर सकता तो उसके
Hmm.
बाद कोई नहीं कर सकता. उनका रूल होता था कि लाइक अगर 2 साल बेसिकली 2 साल में अगर कोई बच्चा हिफ्स कर देता है तो वेल एंड गुड, नहीं कर लेता तो वहीं पे
Hmm.
स्टॉप. उसकी गिरदान करता रहे, क्योंकि ज़्यादा याद करने की ज़रूरत मतलब वो आपको गुनाह ही मिलता है। बाद में अगर आपको भूल जाए तो आपको बहुत
Yeah.
ज़्यादा गुनाह मिलता है। तो इट्स लाइक आपको जितना आपको उस टाइम तक
Mhm.
जितना याद हो जाता है, लाइक जस्ट कीप ऑन
Mhm.
रिवाइजिंग दैट एंड कीप जस्ट डोंट फॉरगेट दैट एंड जस्ट डोंट केयर अबाउट
Mhm.
द रेस्ट। लाइक अल्लाह कबूल करने
Yeah.
वाला है, जस्ट एंड दैट वाज़ गुड। लाइक दैट वाज़ अ गुड
Right.
मोरो। सो yeah, so I did 15. I couldn't do it in 2 years, so I did 15.
Okay.
So that happened, and oh, also these are the 2 years that I was like here
Got it.
homesick. I was
Okay.
in Pakistan, but then I was very good with like my tajweed and stuff like that, because I lived in like Arabic
Mhm.
speaking countries, and
Yeah.
like I knew like the whole I was the pronunciations and stuff weren't a big
Mhm.
deal for me, so it was easier for me to like
Mhm.
get along with it. And being of like such an Islamic household, I already knew a lot of stuff.
It must have been a massive shock, though, just coming from the Canadian school system. You did not. I know you said you had an Islamic household, but at least the school was different, right? Your friend circle was diverse, I'm guessing. And then you went to Pakistan, and now suddenly you're in the. I mean, people can live pretty different lives in Pakistan as well, but you were immersed into this Islamic heavy world, and even your school was Islamic, and you started Hifz. I'm guessing all that must have been a shock to happen all at once.
See, that's one reason why it was like I on top of being homesick, I became depressed, like
Mhm.
severely depressed because of that, because of like this environment that I'm totally new to, that I don't know. I get it. Like my household was still like
Mhm.
Islamic. Like my mom was like, oh, hijab, hijab, hijab. But then still, I had this loophole that you can't. That's why I say, like, I'm firm on this belief that you can't force Islam on
Mhm.
anybody. You know, it's just like you can teach your kids stuff, but then when you get to like forcing them to
Mhm.
do stuff, that's when it messes up for them. It messes up religion for them. And that's what happened with me.
Well, yeah, and also I think in general, HIPAA is usually done very early in a child's life. I'm not so much in teenage years, as far as I know. Like most kids start learning even as early as age 6.
Yeah, yeah.
So you started learning very late in life.
Yeah, I started very late. Um,
Yeah.
but it didn't have that much of an effect. I think the most of the effect was like of how I was like so unfocused. I could
Hmm.
have done it. I still say like I could have done it if I was just, doing it more enthusiastically. It was
Hmm.
just I wasn't passionate for it.
Hmm.
Like not because like alhamdulillah, like I know like it's the biggest thing that like it's a thing of honor, like doing
Hmm.
hifz and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
But in that circumstance, in those circumstances, and in that scenario, like I wasn't really in the ideal shape for like
Hmm.
doing hifz at that time.
Hmm.
Abhi bhi, alhamdulillah, I still have faith. Like agar main abhi bhi karna chahu to I can do it, and I do have plans of like completing hifz like
Hmm.
whenever, but like I do have plans.
Hmm.
So yeah, these 2 years were like highly, highly like the worst years of my life, I would say.
I'm guessing, yeah.
Very
And
difficult.
did your parents not sense that depression in you during that time?
No, actually, because I had this resistance because first of all, my mom and dad weren't so observing,
Hmm.
to be very honest. They were like,
Hmm.
मेंटल हेल्थ का यहाँ पे वैसे पता है कोई ट्रेंड होता है, लाइक इस्लाम अभी पाकिस्तान में मेंटल हेल्थ को कुछ थोड़ा बहुत मीडिया है। उस
Hmm.
जमाने में तो कुछ भी नहीं था यार, 2-4 साल पहले तो लाइक मेंटल हेल्थ ओ पागल तो ही ना हमारा बच्चा, like
Right.
the stereotypical mindset.
Yeah, or just like even things like depression. We've discussed this before in the beginning of this podcast, but even things like depression are taken like very lightly.
Very, very, very.
Like, oh yeah, you're just depressed. Yeah, bas khushi hona na, khush ho jao, bas khush ho jao. And that's it. Like it's not considered that hey, this is a chemical imbalance in your brain. This actually needs to be treated in a medical and professional way. It's not something like, oh yeah, I'll just go to the amusement park and now I'll feel better and I'll come back home happy and life will be okay.
Exactly. Yeah, but
And that's just
like
depression. But there's a whole अभी तक schizophrenia को लोग समझते हैं जिन जिन आ गया जिन आ गया.
Yeah.
yeah, that is actually okay. I need to do another podcast on like Jinag, I
Yeah, a
swear.
separate one on that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and during that homesickness time, not only was it depression, but it was getting worse. That I
Mhm.
was on stuff, and that also like affected in a way that I wasn't an addict. I could tell you that I wasn't an addict. It was still like, come on, like I'm in eighth grade. Like it wasn't that often, but then it still had effect. So I was on stuff, and that kind of like played a
Mhm.
big role.
Yeah.
The unfocusedness, the more sleepiness, the like increased aggression and all that. But then I was always like an angry kid, and I always had aggression
Mhm.
issues. So like that's how that, just dissolved into like my bad behavior, just me being a bad child,
Mhm.
like a bad behavior child, like having behavioral
Mhm.
problems. That what it
Mhm.
was. And then during this time, although I was in this Islamic school, it was not at all Islamic.
Mm.
I swear to God, जितना इस्लाम के नाम पे वो चीज गंद थी ना, like everything, like, but that's one thing, like everything was
Mm.
going on. Like you had not drugs, I wouldn't say drugs, but like you had like people dating, you had like people, just talking, doing stuff, and like when I say doing stuff, it's like how do I
Like making
explain
out,
this?
or like second base, not
Not
third,
at all
Yes,
things.
yes,
first base. Wait, you're talking about an Islamic school,
exactly.
right?
Looks
For
good.
second
These are kids in the Islamic school.
Exactly.
Wow.
Naam ka Islamic.
Hmm.
Naam ka Islamic school. It's
Wow.
just like
Islamic in quotes.
exactly, and like it wasn't like it's
Hmm.
not like the admin or like the teachers had something to do with it. Like the teachers. अब वो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा वो क्या कर सकते हैं? ज़ाहिर सी बात है, the admin या जो teachers हैं वो बोल
Yeah.
ही सकते हैं, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा और क्या कर सकते हैं? और यहाँ पे तो खैर ज़्यादा ज़्यादा चलो मुंह पे नहीं, सब सर पे मार देंगे। मैंने अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह यहाँ पे कभी मुंह पे नहीं खाई, सर पे खाई है। लेकिन ये है कि इससे
Wow.
ज़्यादा क्या कर सकते हैं? लाइक वही ना कि लाइक फिर भी वो तो जो स्टूडेंट
Hmm.
कल्चर था ना यहाँ पे, लाइक जो आपस में जो स्टूडेंट पॉलिटिक्स एंड वो जो कल्चर था,
Oh, wow.
that was messed up. Like the kids were making out and like having going on dates and like burqa pehna hua hai upar aur niche sahi kaam ho rahe hain, like
Oh my
parties
God.
and stuff,
Wow.
and I was like, what the hell? Like isse to main wahan achhi thi yaar.
Hmm. Well, at least, yeah. I mean, things are open in the West, but at least they're open, right? People aren't trying to hide it. Whereas,
Yeah, exactly. मुनाफिक तो नहीं है मतलब वहाँ पे.
we put on this impression कि यार हम बिल्कुल साफ सुथरे, कुछ नहीं करते हम तो.
Exactly. Duality तो नहीं है वहाँ पे. यहाँ पे कितनी duality थी. And like it was just messed up, if you
Wow.
think about it, it's just messed up.
Yeah, it's
So
surprising
in
to me.
that specific. Yeah, exactly. So that specific, that was like उससे वो schools अच्छे थे जहाँ पे मैं पहले गई थी. चलो वहाँ भी मतलब ये है कि सब कुछ हो रहा है, लेकिन ये है कि वहाँ पे वो लोग वो स्कूल वो उसके लिए उनके नाम के साथ वो ठप्पा
हाँ.
लगा हुआ भी है कि like okay, like यहाँ पे ये सब
Right.
कुछ होता है.
Hmm.
Great.
Hmm.
Okay. So like people know, like, but when it's kind of like a clickbait. If you go to schools like this, it's kind of like a
Wow.
clickbait, isn't it? Don't you agree? Like अगर आप एक इस्लामिक स्कूल में जा रहे हो, बाद में आपका बच्चा like आप अच्छी परवरिश के लिए बच्चे को स्कूल में डाल रहे हो और स्कूल में बच्चा उतना ही खराब होकर निकल गया. Isn't it clickbait?
Yeah, it is, and based on my experience here, जो उनसे मैंने बच्चे देखे ना, now this is just my experience, not a professional opinion. लेकिन a lot of kids that I've gotten to know that went to Islamic school, younger than me or the same age as me, I didn't see an improvement in their personality any different from mine. Like I didn't see, ये बच्चा 5 वक्त की नमाज पढ़ता है, he prays 5 times a day, he must have no anger issues, he must have no, blemish on his character. But in reality, like they do some really strange things sometimes. You don't really see an improvement in morality. You don't really see them, being any different from other kids. And maybe they shouldn't be. But this whole idea, okay, मैं अपने बच्चों, a lot of parents have this, मैं अपने बच्चों को Islamic school भेजूंगा and, they'll be completely fine. My kids and, my house, and we're all clean and pure and we can judge everybody else. That whole, I think, mindset within parents needs to go away.
That's the biggest clickbait of life, I swear.
Yeah. Right. And a lot of the parents, I don't think they even know how much their kids know and how much
वो
what their
बेचारे
kids
तो
they
इसी
do.
उम्मीद से भेजते हैं ना कि बच्चा हमारी बात नहीं सुन रहा, चलो कारी साहब की बात सुन लेगा या बाजी की जो भी है, लाइक
Yeah.
कुरानिक टीचर की बात सुन लेगा.
Right.
कभी कभी हमेशा अक्सर यही होता है कि लाइक घर का बच्चा घर में नहीं सीखता. वो कहते हैं ना घर की मुर्गी दाल बराबर.
Mhm.
So like it often happens like your kid doesn't like listen to you, but then listens to their teacher.
Mhm.
Like the same thing that happens. The same thing you say to your sister, you say to your child, you're like, don't lie, it's a bad thing. And then they're still gonna lie. But then when they go to school, they look up to this teacher, they have this favorite teacher. And this favorite teacher says, don't lie, it's a bad thing. And then this kid comes home and he's like, oh, this teacher, and like enthusiastically says, like, this teacher told me not to lie, I'm not gonna lie anymore. That actually happens. I've seen kids like do that, and it's a real thing. वो कहते हैं ना कि बाहर के एनवायरनमेंट का असर पड़ता है. सो वो बेचारे पेरेंट्स तो यही सोच के भेजते हैं ना कि लाइक हमारी नहीं सुन रहा तो चलो कम से कम किसी और की सुन लेगा. But it's like it's all about the teaching methodologies. That's what I believe. कि अगर आपकी teaching methodologies अच्छी हो तो like बच्चा सीख भी जाता है. अगर आपको पढ़ाना तो अगर आपको सिखाना तो if you're a good mentor, आपके like your pupil, they're gonna be great.
So just assuming कि मैं अपने बच्चों को इस्लामिक स्कूल भेज दूंगा, everything will be fine from here. That doesn't
exactly. Also there's this big thing that अक्सर चीजें ना सिर्फ बताने से नहीं वो करने से भी like your kid looks at you as a role model. If you want your kid to learn something, like do it yourself. I swear, like that's the biggest thing. So that school, I left that school, and that school was like hell for me. I did not make friends there. It was just I was about to talk about my mentally abusive relationship that I also got from that school. So this one like although they were like so Islamic, they didn't even let guys and girls talk. Like you couldn't even not just talk, but you couldn't even cross ways. Like they were like completely different campuses. And then we used to go like in the evening, like it was like a 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. school, because we used to do schooling as well as hifz within the school.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So where were these kids interacting? They're not allowed to interact within the school, like
no,
with the other gender.
Guys? No.
But किधर पीछे backyard में, like somewhere around the corner of the school, were they interacting with each other, and that's where they were dating and hooking up?
Oh, by that time, phones थे सबके पास. So yeah, they were like exchanging. Like one person would just किसी paper में click के, and then they would just leave at this like behind under this rock. And then they would वो इशारा कर देंगे, वो rock के नीचे से जाके वो number ले लेंगे, फिर शुरू.
Wow. Yeah. Who needs Tinder?
Who needs Tinder? I swear. Yeah. But like यार वो इतने भी नहीं थे ना, like आधे से ज़्यादा बच्चों के पास, like some had smartphones, some did not. Like WhatsApp, was WhatsApp in 2014, like 15 now.
Yeah.
But me, I don't remember. Like in my household, I didn't know technology. Other than that, like होंगे लोगों के पास, I don't know. But there were numbers. There were like SIMs and phones. So those like Blackberries back in the day.
Wait, Jazil, do you have a question?
Yeah. I just want to know, like, while you were in Ethiopia, Canada, and all those countries, where were your older siblings? Did they stay in Pakistan, or were they with you?
Oh, my sister was married. So yeah, I was the only child. Like my childhood was like a single child.
Solo childhood, right? You were the only kid in the house, basically.
I was the only kid in the house. And see, that was also one reason I did not get to meet my sister. I didn't know I have a sister. That's one reason I hate like a lot of people.
Yeah. So yeah, and there was a 14-year gap between you and your sister. So that's
me and my sister,
pretty
exactly.
Big gap,
yeah. So okay, so I get to know this guy, like everybody. I got bullied here again. This time for being अंग्रेज आई है, शोखी मार रही है.
Yeah.
What the वो. And I basically got labeled as a slut. Why I have guy friends.
Okay.
But like I used to.
बड़ी आई वेस्ट से हमें सिखाएगी, हम पहले ही आगे बढ़े हुए.
Exactly. Yeah, like, but then I was at least I stayed true to that. Like know how I say, like it was hypocrisy. Like how they were like अंदर से कुछ और बाहर से कुछ और. I was really open about that. Like I used to go around the school like telling everybody, you guys are like hypocrites. Like अगर date ही करना है सबके सामने आके करो ना, ये क्या कर रहे हो? So like I made a lot of enemies because like people were like shush down, and I was like, I just talked out about it. I was not the hiding kind. तो मैं बताती थी, like मैं बड़ा proud होकर बताती थी. I'm like, सब कुछ चल रहा है यार. School बहुत बकवास है और सब कुछ चल रहा है, and like everybody, that's why like that's I got bullied for like, but then by this time I was so used to bullying, I was like, I don't give a shit about it.
Doesn't surprise me.
So whatever. Yeah, so I used to get bullied and I didn't make many friends, and like that one reason like where you have to fit in, like because आपको एक जगह अच्छी भी लगती है ना, आपको दिल भी चाहता है कि आप उसमें fit in हो. Here, I did not even want to fit in. I was like, let's just be over with this as soon as possible. Like, I want to get out of this space. But in the constant fighting with like people around there and just, being like all, the odd one out and like nobody's sitting with me. And that just did not help with my depression and me missing my friends even more because I didn't make any friends. So between all this, I got in touch with this guy also from school, and this guy befriended me, and I was also like 15 back then. So that's like, that makes this so messed up. But yeah, so this guy befriends me, and he's 18 back in the day. He's like 3 years my senior, and class-wise 2 years my senior.
Okay.
So yeah. So yeah, so this guy basically what he does is like he befriends me. He's like, I feel like he's all understanding. He gets me. He gets like what environment I'm from, and like it's all cool. And he plays all chill with me until like getting into a relationship, and then it just happened to escalate. So like it was to be mentally abusive, and also this guy again put me into stuff. This guy pushed me up with stuff, and I was like, I went into all of that.
This guy was from your school?
This guy was from my school.
Okay.
And
he put you under some stuff too.
Yeah.
So stuff really goes around even in Islamic schools and basically everywhere over there too, huh?
Everywhere. Like, it's just, it's easy. It's easy. Like if you have the cash, it's easy.
Okay.
So even sometimes you don't have the cash, like people, like I don't know how they do it. Unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
आपके पास ना भी हो ना कुछ मतलब पैसे वगैरह, like to pay for it, or like people are here that will give you things only to ruin your life. Like they wouldn't even care about the money. Like there are people like that here. Like I'm like, that's even more messed up. एक बंदे के पास पे करने के लिए पैसे हैं ही नहीं, तो वो उस चीज से बचा हुआ है ना एक किस्म से. नहीं, you're even gonna do it to that specific person और उसकी भी life खराब.
No, you didn't want to like at least turn the substances down at least? Like did it cross your mind that maybe I shouldn't be doing this or something? Or was it peer pressure that got you into it?
It was not mostly it.
It was a coping mechanism.
Yes. So this person just forces me into like taking all these substances, and like this person knows that I've been taking like things before. So this person says that kind of makes me think that I'm doing wrong. मैं अपनी health के साथ खराब कर रही हूँ. Like मैं अपनी health खराब कर रही हूँ चीजें ना लेके.
Wow. Okay.
Get it? Like that is so twisted. Like that right. I get now that was so twisted. And this person, how like kind of like Stockholm syndrome, like you feel like you like
they're actually helping you.
They're actually helping me. Exactly. So this person made me responsible for everything that went wrong in the relationship, and like I felt guilty for everything, and I had to do these things in order to make it up for him. So it was just messed up. And until my sister got hold of it, that summer my sister was in town, and she finally cracked up the code. She was like, you're messed up, she found stuff, and she basically got me out of all of this. She was like, this is all messed up. Like I wouldn't know like you would go so much like without guidance. I told her not to tell my parents, and to just don't blow the cover. And she's like, yeah, okay, I won't blow the cover, but you have to get better. You have to leave all this, and you have to leave the guy. And I'm like, still in like the
Stockholm state.
mentally abusive.
Right.
But yeah, I still feel like I can't get out of it, and like, I can't leave this guy, and it's messed up. But then my sister fights this guy, and
Hmm.
like, somehow I just get out, and this guy just ditches me. And so this guy was like, now my sister is involved. And then he's like, it, like it's getting to the elders, so it's better to
Yeah.
like, just leave.
Just
I'm
drop out.
glad he left. But
Yeah.
yeah, he just left.
Okay.
Alhamdulillah, like I went to rehab. Um Rehab in a sense that there was this doctor that kind of helped me,
Hmm.
and my sister like made up the story that I'm out to some camping, like some like Girl Scout thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, she made
Got
this
it.
Girl Scout thing up, and I went to rehab with this doctor. I had this treatment, and yeah, I got better.
That's amazing. So how long did it take? How long were you in rehab?
It took like I guess 4 months.
Hmm.
Yeah,
4 months?
yeah,
You were there?
4 months. Yes,
Wow.
I was there
Okay.
4 months.
That's amazing. So your sister, basically somebody who you haven't even gotten to know most of your childhood, she's the one who basically
Yes, exactly.
she's the hero, the heroine of your life.
The guardian angel.
Yeah, the guardian angel.
Yes, the guardian
Yeah,
angel.
your
Yeah.
protector. That's a pretty amazing twist.
Yeah, so I was there 4 months. Like 4 months in a sense that I came back home in like 2 weeks, but then like just to get rid of the obvious symptoms. And then I used to go like after
Mhm.
school, and then I used to come back
Yeah.
at 8, like to like, get into like counseling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that the whole process went on for like 4 months.
Okay.
So my parents not being so observing, that
Mhm.
helped. That kind of like actually helped. And because my mom was always in this thing called tabligh. Tabligh or like Jamaat is like, you travel around with
Mhm.
people, and then,
Yeah.
you just,
To convert people or to improve their religion. Tablighi Jamaat. Yeah.
yes, to improve, yeah, tabligh Jamaat, you just go into
Mhm.
like these different, आप 40 दिन के लिए जाते हो, आप like 3 months के
Got
लिए
it.
जाते हो, आप 3 days के लिए जाते हो. Yeah, she's traveling a lot with these groups, these Islamic groups, and she's going with her friends and her
Mhm.
that religious group
Mhm.
friends. So yeah, she's out most of the time. My dad is retired and he doesn't do anything else, but he's at the home
Yeah.
chilling, enjoying his retirement. Doesn't really know much. He knows I'm a troubled
Yeah.
child, so yeah, he just thinks that it's just my rebellious
Mhm.
nature. So my sister then stays for 4 months and somehow gets a pass with that, because like uska bhi ससुराल है, like usko bhi वहाँ पे जाना होता है, like she has her own kids to
Yeah.
take care of. But like shout out to my
Mhm.
sister, like उसने उनका भी ख्याल रखा, साथ में मेरा भी ख्याल रखा.
Yeah. That's good.
So like my sister's kids went back, so she stayed with me. So yeah,
Mhm. Right.
so I got out, and during the rehab I actually got to rethink about
Mm.
everything, like what went wrong, what went right, and like the whole reflection thing. It just came into everything came into perspective, and I got better. And not only with that thing, but also with the how that relationship was mentally abusive, how what I said to my dad, how was that wrong.
Mm.
Until now, Pakistan का एक्सपीरियंस मेरा बिल्कुल भी अच्छा नहीं
Wow.
था. लाइक कोई चीज़ नहीं मेरे साथ
Mm.
अच्छी हुई थी. But still, like I had more izzat for Pakistan
Mm.
in general, because the people जो अपनायत आपको यहाँ आके मिलती है, like there was a lot going on in my life, but then there were people here, आपके जो like neighbors हैं, या वैसे like people out in the street, just people in the market, like अगर आप बाहर किसी public area में जाते हो, how people talk to you, that was just so, for me it was like
Mm.
it was heartwarming.
Yeah.
Then I started like actually noticing that there's not much different between like Pakistan and like somewhere like abroad, like Canada or like
Yeah.
Ethiopia or like you know
The gap is really narrowing now, right? The differences between Pakistan and the West.
exactly. Yes, the internet is making it so much like better. Like, you're getting trends are coming here. The same trends you have in America, we have it at the same time. Like the fidget
Yeah.
spinner trend, like trends like that, and like the trick shot trend,
The 10-year challenge. Yeah.
the 10-year challenge, exactly.
Yeah.
Like all the जो वहाँ पे आते हैं तभी यहीं पे आ जाते हैं. It's like except one thing that's still cringy. Dab is dead. People, dab is dead. Don't do it.
Yeah. They
But,
still
like,
dab over
yeah,
there.
they still dab over here.
I see.
I'm crying right
That's
now.
funny. Yeah.
Warming up to it, and it's
Yeah.
not like nothing is. See, everything is available here. It's not like,
That's good.
but yeah.
So okay, so going back to Canada, when you had that conversation with your dad, right? That kind of turned the whole plan around. Do you wish basically that they could have changed, that you might still be in Canada today, or are you actually happy at the end of the day that things went the way they did? If you could go back, would you change anything, or?
I would say that no, I wouldn't
Mhm.
want. I'm actually glad things went the
Mhm.
way they did. Yes, it was hard. Yes, it was like painful. I saw a lot of things, hardships, but they were all they made me learn
Right.
something.
Yeah.
Right. So I learned a lot of things. The actual thing that is like that counts is that I
Mhm.
learned. I am much more conscious than other individuals my
Mhm.
age. Like even like I'm more mature than a lot of 18-year-olds like in my circle. Like unko kuch nahi pata. Unko like they're like still their parents are
Yeah.
overprotective of them. Alhamdulillah, like that is one. I have independence in my house. Like my parents, they feel I'm accountable,
Mhm.
like and I'm responsible. मुझे घर के काम like घर के important काम दिए जाते हैं. Like I have a curfew time of 9. Before that, I have the independence of going wherever I have to go. And like a lot of people, that is also a point to note. People do not here have like वहाँ पे जैसे आप देखते हो ना यहाँ पे independence नहीं है. Especially 18, 17, 18, यहाँ पे तो बिल्कुल नहीं है. वहाँ पे 17, 18 तक आप छोटी मोटी जॉब्स करना शुरू कर देते हो. Like before going to college and stuff, like after school, high school, like
Yeah.
after school jobs करते हो आप ये वो. यहाँ ऐसा culture है ही नहीं. यहाँ
अभी
पे ये है
नहीं.
कि after school आपकी जॉब ही होती है, आप academy जाते हो.
Okay. I was just going to ask, basically the final question that I have here is any advice that you would offer for other people who are potentially moving back to Pakistan in terms of dealing with culture shock and basically how they can get assimilated faster?
Yes, exactly. First of all, you have to be the biggest thing. You have to be lucid. Like you have to be open to different kind of ideas. And people here are gonna be very nosy, very nosy. यहाँ पे लोग जो हैं, not even like on a serious note, people आपको अपनाते हैं, आपके साथ अपनायत का एहसास करते हैं. आपको वो बहुत annoying लगेगा पहले आके. हर किसी को लगता है. वहाँ पे आपको देखो, आपको अपनी प्राइवेसी चाहिए होती है. I get it. लेकिन यहाँ पे आके वो प्राइवेसी वाला सीन नहीं होता. Like आपको प्राइवेसी थोड़ी सी अपनी कम करनी पड़ेगी. People do give a shit about you. आप क्या पहन रहे हो, क्या कर रहे हो, क्यों कर रहे हो. People will ask you. आपसे पूछा जाएगा. Be open to it. Give it like a positive attitude. थोड़ा सा like optimistic side पे सोचो कि क्या पता ये लोग कभी, ठीक है कुछ लोग बातें भी बनाते हैं, लेकिन कुछ लोग आपके लिए sincerely concerned भी होते हैं. फिर चाहे वो आपके दूर की पुप्पी का कोई पड़ोसी क्यों ना हो, लेकिन वो दिल से आपके बारे में सोचते हैं कि नहीं यार, बच्ची है, घर की बच्ची है, या बच्चा है तो घर का बच्चा है. Like इसके लिए भी सोचना है. तो that's one thing about Pakistan that I love. आप चाहे दुनिया जहान के कहाँ के लोग हो, लेकिन जब आपको पता है ना कि आपको कोई गाइडेंस के लिए आता है ना, तो आपको वो यही सोच के देता है कि यार लाइक मेरे अपने भी बच्चे हैं, अगर मैं इस बच्चे को गाइडेंस दे रहा हूँ तो like they think it like that. So that's the best thing here. So be lucid to like different kind of ideas, and इतनी जल्दी बुरा ना मान जाना कि like yo, this guy is like annoying, and like all these aunties are annoying and stuff. They are going to be annoying. It's in their nature. They can't help it. So you are the one that has to adopt, and that has to be lucid with it. Yeah, that's about it.
It must be easier today than to move back to Pakistan or any country, to be honest, versus than it was like 10, 20 years ago. If you imagine
it is
what life was like before the internet kind of united all the cultures together. We've discussed many times the internet can be a really kind of an obstacle to success sometimes. But at the same time, these are some of the benefits that, hey, you're still in touch with the whole world, even if you move any, no matter where you move.
Exactly. Moving back to Pakistan, यार, is not like आपको जरा भी feel नहीं होता अगर आप materialistically
Mhm.
सोचो ना, like आपको हर चीज आपको यहाँ पे मिल जाती है, आपको बस right जगह चाहिए होती है जाने के लिए, like आपको यहाँ D Watson पे मिल जाता है. D Watson is like a cash and carry type of place, like a
Yeah.
Walmart kind of place here.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so like आपको D Watson पे दुनिया जहान की imported चीजें मिल जाती हैं. But like in Islamabad, alhamdulillah, आप जहाँ भी जाओ, जिससे भी जाओ, Islamabad also is the most
Yeah.
developed like city in Pakistan. So I wouldn't like I'm not the right person to say because I live in the most developed area. But yeah, like D Watson is also in Islamabad. Like, and you get imported stuff, you get original stuff here. Like me being a girl, let's talk about makeup. Like you get original Smashbox stuff here. Like what else do you want? You get like आप आराम से Sephora की चीजें आपको यहाँ पे मिल जाती हैं. So it's
that's
easy
good.
scene, yeah.
Yeah. And I think most kids their concern wouldn't be so much the stuff, the things, the materials. It's more like, मैं उधर जाके दोस्त कैसे बनाऊंगा, probably the culture is really different. वही फियर मुझे वो इस्लामिक स्कूल में डाल देंगे, कुरान पढ़ना पड़ जाएगा, oh my god. जो चीजें they're pretty common abroad too, but at least there's not that much force abroad, which kids are I think afraid of when they move to Pakistan.
ये चीज थोड़ी सी होगी. मदरसा आपको हर जगह एक जैसे ही मिलेगा. मदरसे का जो है ना, वो जो कंजर्वेटिव थोड़ा कन्फाइंड सा माहौल है, वो तो होगा. वो चीज नहीं आप dodge कर सकते हो. But other than that, like you find gamers here, you have Xbox, you have PS4, you have stuff, like you have video games. So anything and everything that's there, like you can even like skate over here. Like people, मैं बाकी की नहीं बात कर रही, इस्लामाबाद की बात कर रही हूँ. You can skate in Islamabad, so it's like easy scene. So yeah.
Jazza, what would be your challenge to moving back if you ever had to move to Pakistan? What would you be most scared of?
The fact that people talking Urdu in Karachi. I'm gonna have to find people that only speak English.
Okay.
Oh
shoot! Oh my god! I'm already picturing how Jazza would be bullied.
His Urdu is not that great.
Yeah, it's not.
So sorry, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, but you know what? I did not know Urdu until like I moved back here. That was another challenge. See, that's another challenge. I did not know Urdu.
Wow. So you already knew Sindhi, right? You used to speak Sindhi at home.
I used to speak Sindhi.
You learned Sindhi that way. You learned English, and then you had to learn Urdu.
Let me tell you this. Sindhi आने का उर्दू से कोई ताल्लुक नहीं है. Urdu is so different than Sindhi. Like Sindhi did not help me at all. Like learning Urdu. Come on. Like I thought it would, but it didn't. You guys are lucky, yeah. तुम लोग को like हमसे बात करने को मिलता है. Like there's means of communication with people all around, and you can connect. So like तुम लोग तो फिर भी हमसे like बहुत ज़्यादा lucky हो, like compared to me.
Yeah, just the fact that we're talking, I think, is so impressive. If you think about it, Jazil and I met like 2 years ago. Jazil joined Discord.
2 years ago.
We started taking interest in Urdu and Pakistani culture a bit more after interacting with the Pakistani people on our Discord server, right? And so Jazil and I are talking right now, and just the fact we're talking right now, like we're great friends, which we are, but I would say, just the fact that we're sharing our ideas and the differences in our background and hopefully appreciating Pakistan, and it's amazing that we're even talking, right? We have completely different lives.
This is so productive,
Yeah, we have completely different lives. We don't live in the same place. Our lives should never interact, but they do.
Exactly.
Thanks, guys. All right, take care.
Okay,
Bye.
sorry.
Hafiz.
Hafiz.